Hey, Liam Ward here at LearnTheHarmonica.com. Today we're looking at adding variety to our blues solos. So there are loads of different ways that we can keep our solos interesting. We've looked at some of them so far in this mini course. We've looked at note selection and textures and dynamics. But one of the ways that you might be tempted to try and expand and keep your solos interesting is to use different areas of the harmonica. So far we've mainly played down the bottom end, and that's so that we've got a contained kind of area to focus on our various techniques we've been looking at. But one of the things you could do is to start to try and play up the top end, keep things interesting by expanding where maybe you're playing the chord tones up that top end. You might find the blues scale further up in the higher holes, and there is nothing wrong with that. In fact, they are brilliant ways of making your solos interesting. But I want to mention something in this video that is maybe a bit counterintuitive, but is a really great way of making your soloing more interesting. So what we're actually going to do is the opposite of what I've just described. We're going to limit the holes that we're allowed to play on. We're going to practice soloing on fewer and fewer holes. You could do it on 3, 2, even 1 hole. I'm going to do it on 2 holes, holes 1 and 2. And I'm going to allow myself to play the blow notes, the draw notes, the bent notes as well, but I'm not going to go outside of holes 1 and 2. Those notes there, all on 1 and 2, are my only notes I can play. This is a C harp, by the way. Now, the beauty of doing this is that by keeping yourself in a confined area of the harmonica, you are forcing yourself to use all the creative tools you have at your disposal. So every texture, every possible note on those holes, every different rhythmic variation that you can think of, all of those things have to come out so you don't play the same note in the same way over and over throughout the solo. And this means that over time you'll get more and more creative with the variations that are possible within a very restricted range of notes. And this can actually be one of the strongest, most powerful tools for expanding your soloing abilities, as counterintuitive as it might seem. Before I give you an example of soloing in this way, you can do something for me. If you click like on this video, then YouTube knows to share it with more people. And if you want free harmonica lessons every single week, then subscribe to my channel and click the little bell. So I'll now give you an example of a solo played just on holes 1 and 2.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay, so you might not have thought that was the best solo you've ever heard, certainly not the best I've ever played, and it's quite difficult to force yourself to stay on those holes, which just shows the pull, if you like, of kind of trying to vary things by using a different hole. Which, as I say, I'm not knocking that at all, but it can be that if you don't practice this kind of thing, then you're restricting yourself in lots of other ways. Sometimes this is called taping the harp, because you're kind of mentally blocking off every hole except those 2. So it's almost like there's tape over those holes. You could physically tape them off if you don't have the willpower to stop yourself moving around. But either way, it's a really, really useful exercise. I found it really, really valuable to me and to my students. But of course there are loads of different approaches to soloing. We've looked at some of them in this mini-series on YouTube, but I have an in-depth course all about blues improvisation, taking the concepts we've looked at in these videos to further depths and looking at lots of other stuff that is beyond the scope of these videos as well. If you want to take that course, then try a free trial of my harmonica school. You get to try it for a whole month and see if it's for you, access all of the courses on there, and there's loads of backing tracks, different grooves as well to try out as well. There's a link in the video to that. If you've enjoyed this video, please click like, subscribe to the channel and click the bell to get free harmonica lessons every single week. I'll see you soon for another harmonica lesson. Until then, enjoy your practice. Cheers.